Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle some really powerful English words. But listen, this isn't about just memorizing a list. Nope. This is about really, truly understanding them. We're going to use super clear definitions and real-world examples to make these words stick with you for good. So, have you ever wondered what the actual secret is to mastering tough words? It's not magic, I promise. It's actually a really simple two-part method. First, you get the main idea, the core meaning. Then you see that word in action, in a real context. And that's it. That's the exact formula we're going to use today.
All right, let's kick things off with the words that form our foundations. Think of these as the building blocks of society. They're how we make rules, how we form agreements, basically how we build the systems we all live in.
Okay, our first word is constitute. All this really means is to be the parts that make up a whole. You know, like how flour, sugar, and eggs constitute a cake. They are the pieces that form the final thing. Let's look at this example. Here, the individual students who drop out, they are the parts. And together, they form, or constitute, this much larger problem. See how that works? They are the components of the issue. And what's really cool is how this one word helps you understand others. If constitute means to form something, well, it makes perfect sense that a country's constitution is the set of laws that forms its government. And constitutional just describes anything related to those main laws. It all comes from that same root idea. Next up, we have contract. Now, a lot of us already know this word, but the key thing to remember is that it can be any kind of agreement. It doesn't have to be some fancy legal document. It could just be a verbal promise between two people. And this example really shows why contracts are so important. They create an official understanding that has real consequences. If you break that agreement, that contract, you could face some serious trouble. Okay, so we've seen how words can build structures, things like laws and agreements. Now let's shift gears and look at how words build something else, meaning and information. These are the words that help us make sense of the world. Create is such a fantastic, dynamic word. It's all about bringing something totally new into existence. You can create a piece of art, a new company, an invention, or even just a brand new idea. This is just a perfect example of creation. The artist took some basic materials, canvas and paint, and brought a painting into the world that didn't exist before. That's the heart of what create really means. Context. Okay, this might be one of the most important words for any language learner. Seriously. Think of it like all the clues surrounding a word in a sentence. The context tells you exactly which meaning of a word is being used. And this is exactly why reading is such a superpower for learning new words. All the other words in the sentence, the topic of the paragraph, that's all context. It helps you figure out what a new word means without even needing a dictionary. Now for data. Simply put, data is the raw material of information. It's all the facts, the numbers, the statistics that we gather to analyze something or to prove a point. Right, so you can't just say, oh, the economy is growing. You need proof. That proof is the data. It's the specific numbers on jobs and production that, when you look at them all together, show that growth is actually happening. This is a classic mix-up, but it's really simple when you break it down. Define is the action. It's a verb. It's what you do. The result of that action is the definition. That's the noun, the thing you get. So you define a word to get a definition. See? One is the act, the other is the result. So we've looked at words for structure and words for meaning. For our last section, let's zoom all the way out to the big picture. These are words that describe the huge systems we're all a part of, our society, our economy, and our world. Distribute is basically a more formal way of saying to share something out. Whether you're talking about a company distributing products or a teacher distributing papers, the main idea is just spreading something out to a group. And here's that action in a perfect, heartwarming example. The charity has a bunch of toys, and its job is to give them out, to share them, to distribute them among many different kids. Here's another really important pair. The economy is the big thing itself. It's the noun, it's the whole system of money and jobs. Economic is the adjective, the word you use to describe something related to that system. So you might hope for economic growth to help the economy. When we hear the word environment, most of us immediately think of nature.
trees, rivers, that sort of thing. And that's totally right. But it also means the social conditions around you, like your work environment or your home environment.
This example shows that broader meaning so well. A hostile environment could definitely be a frozen wasteland, but it could also be a really competitive, unfriendly workplace. The word just describes the total conditions you find yourself in. So as we wrap things up, let's just take a step back and think about the strategy we've been using this whole time. We didn't just stare at a list of words, right? We actually followed a clear, simple process. This simple, three-step path is your new tool for every single new word you find. First, get the basic meaning. Second, see how it actually works in a real sentence. And third, and this is by far the most important step, you have to try to use it yourself. That's what really locks it into your brain. We've broken down some really great words today, but the learning journey, it never really ends, does it? So the real question isn't just what you learned today, it's about what you're going to do next. So, what's the next word you're going to master with this method?